Hey guys, so earlier today I posted a clear on Will of the Oblivion Chronicle using Yigni. Yigni is definitely the MVP for this, but we're going to go back for another clear that doesn't use Yigni, it doesn't use Sky, it doesn't use Bulwark. We're going for a 3-turn clear again. This time we're going to be using Diverti and Lastwell Reagan to mostly carry this fight. So here is the team we're going to use, and I'll show you the gear and all afterwards. Not really a budget run or anything, but if you can't, if your gear is not as good or whatever, a 5-turn clear is still totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and shift Nicole on turn 1 and use his LB to do the big LB boost, the stat buff, etc. We're going to auto attack with Kresnik to fill LB gauge. We're going to shift Diverti here, and we're going to use him to cover. We're going to, let's see here, we're going to cover, imperil the boss, and then boost his stats. Charlotte Feisless are going to shift and tag chain LB, and Lastwell Reagan is going to shift and cap that LB. These two are both using earth weapons, so they don't need the imbue. So go ahead and do this. We're going to wait for the chain to build, and then we're going to cap it with Reagan. Alright. We're provoking with Kresnik for the dispels. Some attacks on Diverti. We didn't use the mitigation and all, so Diverti's taking a decent amount of damage, but it's fine. We'll go ahead and punch with Kresnik to fill LB gauge again. This turn, we're going to go ahead and use Nicole to summon Lakshmi just to top off Diverti. You could also use things like Hurega or whatever, or an Elixir or something. Reload these two. And now Diverti is going to use his LB. Now his LB is going to put up an Earth Field, so we're going to click him first in the chain. And Diverti's LB chains with shifted Feislet's LB. So that'll chain those two together, and then we're going to cap it again with Lastwell Reagan. And now the field is up, so even more damage. And then Diverti, boom. Diverti's pretty good damage here, truth be told. So that was nice. And then some more attacks. We're using auto buffs on Diverti, which is where a lot of that mitigation is coming from. Alright, so this turn we're going to go ahead and punch with Kresnik again to just fill LB gauge back up again. And if you don't have Kresnik, you could use something like, what's her name? Like Eurisha to use her Magnus to fill LB gauge. That kind of stuff would work as well. So we're going to do this again, but this time Diverti is going to triple chain with Bolting Strike. And we're going to chain that with Leviathan Nicole. And then we're going to cap it with Reagan. So we're going to go ahead and start building the chain with this. Wait for the chain to build. And then go ahead and cap and send our Bolting Strike chainers. And there we go, a little bit of bonus damage there. Not super important. And we'll go ahead and accept this clear as we can see the damage report. You'll see Diverti did a whole lot of damage, even though he only really did 1 LB. And then Lastwell Reagan did a decent amount as well. But that was a 3-turn clear, all missions. And then I might still go back for more clears, later on. So, surprisingly, Lastwell Reagan actually did beat Diverti. I guess it is fair because Lastwell Reagan got 3 LBs off. Diverti only did 1 LB. So, not entirely fair there. What we could have done, now that I'm thinking about it, because Diverti did so much damage, we could have done something like really leaned into Diverti for the damage and gone all in for Diverti. I might rerun. I'm going to try that. I'm going to rerun it like that just for curiosity and to see what kind of damage Diverti can do if he's carrying the fight by himself without Lastwell Reagan. We're going to try that, but before I do, I'm going to go ahead and show you the gear and all we used. And then I'm gonna adjust the team, and just for my own curiosity, I'm gonna run it again and see what it looks like with Diverti carrying the fight, because he does get the stat bonus here. Anyway, so the team we did use for this, base form, we didn't even need this really because we covered, so ignore all that auto buffing. We technically geared Nicole for evocation damage. I forgot the damage breakdown. I think his damage was completely trashed here, so really his gear is not super important. But using his LB was kind of a big deal for the 350 to stat buff and the 250 LB damage buff. That allowed Diverti and Lastwell Reagan to do and Feislet to do lots of damage with their LBs. Kresnik was passive provoke. Other than that, basically whatever. He does have quad attack to fill LB gauge because he did 40 LB AoE fill every single turn. Lasso Reagan are using Call of the Wild in the base form, and and then the shift form they are using an earth weapon right here with Beloved Adele just for an earth, because we didn't use earth imbues, so there's an earth weapon. Spirit Killer, LB damage, LB fill a little bit, and then he did his LB every turn thanks to Kresnik. 300 Fairy, 300 LB damage. We didn't use Weapon in Perils, so that's a little bit less damage, but we didn't really have a way to fit it in here. Diverti in the base form was built for chaining. The base form honestly does complete garbage damage, so it's almost irrelevant. But we did use Saintly Castle and Wisdom of Fest for the auto buffing, because we never spent time using his actual mitigations. We just relied on auto buffing, and we didn't break the boss. We never broke the boss at all. The boss does very low damage, as you can see. Anyway, shift form was built for LB damage, evocation. Typical Diverti build. I actually built this by hand. I didn't even use the builder. I'm going to use the builder to see if maybe I could have optimized this build a little bit for my rerun. We're going to do that in a minute. But for now, here is the build he used. He is maxed on everything. So maxed Esper, maxed Evo, maxed LB. But I'm going to, because Diverti is kind of a cool character. I never really use him because he's a little bit power corrupt compared to like the real DPS units. But on this fight, like where you can't bring other units outside of the FBE series, he gets his moment to shine. So we're going to try him again in a second. And then Charlotte Faisal's base form, auto buff. Shift form, again, we're using an earth weapon because we didn't use imbue. Just LB damage. Her LB is a tag chain, so there we go. I think she had maxed everything. I think 300 LB, 300 Fairy, she did. Okay, I'm going to run that again real quick. Let me adjust my team. I'm curious, just for curiosity, to see if Diverti does even better. So, be right back. Alright guys, we're going to be going back into the Will of the Oblivion, and we're going to be trying it with just Diverti, basically, as our DPS. Well, and Charlotte Faisalis as well. But let's go ahead and see if we can really push out that damage here. So, we're going to shift Nicole and do his buffs on turn 1 like before. We're going to fill LB gauge with Kresnik. Sylvie is going to, let's see here, we're going to buff Diverti. We're going to imperil the boss to Earth, and we're going to go ahead and break the boss as well. So let's hop to the rescue just to break the boss. Okay. So that fills LB thanks to Kresnik. So we're going to LB, and we're just going to LB right away on Diverti. We're not even going to do setup. So let's go. Oh my god, this is going to be a turn 2 clear. This is awesome. Okay, Diverti, let's go. Alright, so we're going to Lions. That's wrong, Lions Emblem. We're going to Lion Emblem with Nicole. We're going to Lion Emblem with Sylvie, and we're going to punch with Kresnik. Two-turn clear with Diverti. Outstanding. That is nice. That's nice. All in for Diverti, and it worked. It worked. Okay, let's see the damage report. No, I did gear Charlotte Faisalis pretty well, so... They did help a little bit. We're going to see how much they helped. Let's give it a go and look. 2.2 versus 4 or point whatever. 445 million versus 2.2 billion. I think the boss has 2.1 million billion HP, so I think we didn't even need Charlotte Faisalis. But let's see the team. So Nicole, all I did with him was I just swapped in the Lion Emblem. No change on Kresnik. Sylvie is just using her TMR and Lion Emblem. Diverti, base form irrelevant. Shift form is, I used the builder to optimize his build. So basically 5,000 magic. He's now using the chain cap helm and all that. Basically just more magic, more LB damage. We did lose 10% on Evo damage, but we gained about 10,000 magic, which is a big deal. Or 1,000 magic, which is a big deal. And then Charlotte Faisalis, in the shift form, I geared them for pure damage. Because we kicked Laswell off the team, we were able to move all the good gear onto her, and she has maxed everything. So, okay, there was the Reclear with 2 turns. See you in a bit.